Hi, this is Ryan Vaz, and this is a series called Inspire. Inspire is a series along with PB and Bharat where we bring interesting and experienced entrepreneurs onto this podcast to help you to understand what is it that you can do in your business. Today, we have a very interesting personality with us, a chartered accountant by profession and an executive director at a leading pharmaceutical company. She's completely involved in policy, industry bodies, and education. She could have lived an she could have lived an entirely structured and predictable professional life, but she chose to do something different. She chose to follow something more personally, a love for creating, for food, for desserts, which finally turned into a brand that today brings a joy to thousands across Goa. Dainty Delights, or what is popularly known as Desserts and More. What makes her journey remarkable is not what she built, but how she balances it all. From boardroom to bakeries, from finance to creativity, from leadership roles across GCCI, LUB, and national platforms to being a homemaker and a mother. She represents a rare blend of structure, creativity, and contribution. Please welcome Mrs. Pallavi Salgaonkar to Inspire.
Hello.
Hi, Pallavi ma'am.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Yeah. So, if I look through what you've been doing over the years, a wide range of activities, right from being a CA to running a pharmaceutical brand. How did you enter into this creative and different space of food? With desserts and more.
Yeah, so it happened totally by chance actually.
Okay.
So I was finance director almost 2 decades back. And at that time, I was totally involved in a company, and my son was also small, so I gave time to him. And then one day, I think around 12 years back, I met a lady, and we decided to partner and start a bakery. And after 1 year, that partnership didn't work well, and she
Okay.
opted out. And then we set it up as a division of Gino Pharmaceuticals, which was Dainty Delights, and selling under the brand name Desserts and More.
Okay.
So from there, this journey started. We had a lot of ups and downs. I had a lot of starting of shops and a lot of closing of shops which didn't work out, which was anyways a business decision. When something doesn't work out, you have to shut it to keep your emotions aside. And we had good times. We were being able to make our mark in Goa because Goa is such a competitive market. And then you have bakeries in every nook and corner. And we have been able to establish ourselves today through a network of self-operated counters, franchises, express counters, and our presence in some supermarkets.
So I have so many questions to ask you from what you just told me, and I think I'll start with asking you. You mentioned about ups and downs. What are those difficulties that you faced? And I think in general, every person starting a new business would face when they're trying to establish their brand.
Yeah. So, bakery is in the hospitality industry. So, my biggest problem at that time was getting good staff, good trained staff, and making and retaining them most important.
Okay.
Because here you have little bit, somebody gives you extra and you want to leave, especially
Right.
helpers. So,
Right.
chefs have been with us for a couple of years, but helpers is very dicey. So, they easily leave. So, getting good staff, in spite, and we have lots of hotels in Goa besides restaurants and bakeries.
Right.
So getting good staff, training them and retaining them was one of the biggest issue. Second thing is, in this business, what I have noticed is it goes on changing. Trends go on changing.
Right.
People's taste go on changing. Today, they'll get bored very soon. They want variety. So you have to keep on innovating. You have to know what happens on the other side of the globe also. Because they want something happening in the US to be
Right.
replicated in Goa.
Right.
Then they want, they know everything. Means today is because of Google or because of the social media and because of trends which are available. So they know everything what is going on in other parts of the world, and they want you to do the same thing here, replicate it in Goa. And then that was another thing. One more of a biggest challenge was, I think, COVID.
Okay.
Because COVID, like 2-3 days before we got to know, we thought there would be a lockdown. So at that time, I did one good decision was that I stocked up.
Oh,
stocked
nice.
up on all the raw material. On the packaging was there, but raw materials are essentially stocked up.
Right.
So that was one good decision that we took, because overnight the bakery was closed. 7 days or 8 days, I think we were closed, and then the government gave permission for essentials
I
to
see.
be started. So we could sell bread and maybe cookies under the essentials. And because we already had maida, we had some other raw materials, we could start selling.
Right, right.
And
right.
in fact, at that time, I still remember, we started home delivery. So we were at that time selling through our stores, and then we pivoted towards home delivery,
Towards-
because that was shops were not allowed to be open at that time in the first phase. So I put on Facebook in the morning, and by afternoon there were so many
Orders.
that I just closed down. I said no more taking orders, because we are totally full out of stock, I said. And then we were working like double time, full day and full night. And then I had permission only for certain people were allowed to
Right.
come in a bakery,
Right.
because we were also
You had to work
scared.
on limited stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we had to work with limited staff, and everybody was scared. They didn't want to come out. So we
Right.
had a tough time reassuring our drivers that it's okay if you wear a mask, take the
Yes,
proper precautions. We can go out. You can, because they didn't want to go out.
Right.
The chefs didn't want to come to the bakery.
Yes.
So we had a tough time. So that was one of my toughest time in this 12 years, I would say, the COVID years.
Okay, okay.
So slowly we got permission for other things, and then we went from COVID phase 1 to phase 2, and then everything was allowed. But that was essentially the time where we decided to pivot. That was one thing I learned.
So, very few people, take this opportunity to pivot.
Yeah.
But I would like to come back to the original question, rather to the first part of your answer, where staffing was a challenge for you. And I think in this industry, like you said, people keep jumping.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attrition that
Attrition
happens.
is very high, yeah.
And how did you then manage? You also mentioned that you have chefs right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So how did you solve this problem? Because
Yeah.
this is something that I think everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
How did you manage to do
So
this?
when we were a small brand, we had more attrition.
Okay.
But of late, we are a little bit steady, I would say. The helpers are the biggest problem zones for me. So they are the ones who easily jump ship.
Okay.
But the chefs are there. I have some chefs which are there with me from the start.
Right.
So
nice.
that sometimes managers jump. And then it is difficult. We try our best
Nice.
through
nice.
monetary or through other means, whatever.
Nice. So right now, do you do home deliveries?
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
do home deliveries, and we sell on platforms like Swiggy, Zomato.
which you used to not do before COVID.
Yeah, before COVID, it was entirely shop.
Purely a
Purely
restaurant
shop, and
brand.
some of our clients used to tell us to send them at home. So
Okay.
some of the customers used to send them. But now it is home delivery plus selling through shops, plus we take orders on WhatsApp, we take orders on social media, we deliver on platforms like Swiggy, Zomato.
Zomato.
So a lot of different avenues.
Your promotions, for during COVID, you put one post on Facebook. But after that, now who handles and how do you get yourself out there? How do you build your brand?
Yeah. So now we have social media, which where we put constantly our updates and everything. But I feel a lot of referral helps a lot.
Okay.
Referral, word of mouth. So these things also help a lot. And even the way our customer sales staff work, and they tell and they express and they tell all our offers to our customers, that also counts. So it is everything, from the way our customers, our sales staff sell, to the way our social media shows what we sell. So everything is in line actually.
You are balancing so many roles. Within a business, everyone knows that a business owner himself, manages multiple roles, managing the finances, looking at marketing, trying and understanding different aspects. But you are also managing as a person. You are doing the same thing for your Breads and More. You are doing the same thing for Geno Pharmaceuticals. Then you are also doing it for clubs like clubs and associations like GCCI and LUB. How do you manage your time along with family? I have heard people who come back and say, "Sir, life वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस नहीं हो रहा है, एंड हियर आई डोंट सी a line of difference between both the lives of yours. How do you manage all this?
Yeah, so recently I was in a program in a college, so I said that work-life balance is a myth. At least when your business is newly setting up, you need to give more time to your business. And as your business settles,
Right.
maybe you can spend more time with the family.
Right.
But essentially, I am very poor on the work-life scorecard, if you ask me. Earlier, when my son was small, I didn't get involved in all these activities. I gave time to him. So it was only when he started growing up and then started studying on his own that I took on these extra activities. Because I remember when the offer of GCCI Women's Wing came to me, I started my officer bearer's position from GCCI Women's Wing.
Okay.
So when it was offered to me, I think my son was in the 10th standard as a chairperson of GCCI Women's Wing. And I said, oh, he's in 10th standard. And then I decided, okay, 1 year he'll be done with it. So from that time, after that, it has never stopped. And then he has grown up also. And he has been more independent. So I have more time to give to my... And somehow from there, I became the SOCHM Women Empowerment Chair. And now I'm become the Laghu Udyog Bharati, Goa State President. So it just went on. I started getting more and more posts. And I started moving on the office bearers positions.
So I see you, Pallavi, in three main roles.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can correct me and tell me if you want to add one more in that. So I see one Pallavi as a businesswoman. I see another as Pallavi as a socially responsible person. So you're doing a lot of part of social groups, and then Pallavi as a family person. Do you get torn between these roles? Do you have to fight with yourself? Where do I give priority?
Yeah, just that day also I was speaking. There are some non-negotiables that should be in your life.
Okay.
Where you say no. Like Sunday is my non-negotiable.
Very nice.
99% of the times, there are 1% of the times where you can't help it. But 99% of the times I say no.
Okay.
Sunday is my family time.
Very
me
nice.
time.
Yes.
And that's a time I keep to myself. But other days of the week, normally I go out, take on other things because my son also is busy with college. My husband also is busy with work. And otherwise, what happens, like you said to me, how you're managing everything. But a lot depends on the teams. Like I have to, when Desserts and More was at the start, infancy, like you can call it, I had to see everything, oversee
Right.
everything. But today I've got teams in place. I got a production manager, I have an operations manager, I have a marketing person. So basically everything is sorted
So
out.
the team
yeah,
does-
so I only overlook everything. Even in Gino, everything is in place. I only supervise. Like in other office bearers positions, when it is at the start, you tend to put people in charge. And then you normally, it is a supervisory role. And then you just oversee everything and see that it's in order. So basically having a reliable team is very important. Picking up the right people for your team is very important. So
Right.
this is how you can take on different roles and manage everything smoothly.
Yeah, so I think what you said is very important. Forming a team is
Yeah.
a key to a successful
Yeah,
business.
because a person cannot do everything.
You can't do
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, but I think again, a lot of people would be dying to know how do you form a good team. So what is it that you look for in a team when you are identifying teams and identifying people for different roles?
I think one thing is identify the right person. If
Okay.
your half job is done, if the person is the right person for the right role.
And how do you identify that?
Normally, if I set up a production manager or somebody, then it is through interviews. Of course, I made mistakes. I had some bad eggs, but then over time, over experience, you get that insight. You know who is the right person for the right job.
So that instinct. So at the end of the day, it's an instinct.
It is there plus experience. Sometimes you
Yes.
know a person for so many years and then you know that this is a person I can promote for that role. So it is like that through experience and instinct both.
So how do you take decisions, Pallavi? Are you more emotional or are you more logical as a person? Because
Actually,
both your businesses are on one side you have a very logical based business. I mean, you are a finance person,
Yeah.
and then the Desserts and More is a very creative space. How do you take decisions here?
So when I started out, actually, I was a little bit more emotional, but off late, no. So if there is some stressful situation or something, I just tell myself it's a part of life. Stress is a part of life. And what I do is I try to sleep over. So
Okay.
instead of instinctively just getting worked up and everything, I say, let me sleep over. Because I'm at least 99% of the times I've seen next day I change my decision. So it is better you sleep over, you think
Right.
over, and instead of instantly acting out of instantly acting at that time. So I think it's very important to think, sleep over, and then take a decision.
So, as a person, okay, not hobbies, but as a person, what does Pallavi love doing?
I love reading and writing. And that
Okay.
is something I totally regret of late because I am not, because there's so many functions in Goa, so many events happening, because when you're part of so many associations.
And you have to be there.
Yeah, I have cut down actually of late. I've stepped down from one to associations, and then something or the other is happening to Goa. Somebody or the other invites you, and then they feel bad if you don't come, and then you go, and then you waste a lot of time traveling, and then going for the functions, and then I'm feeling that I'm spending less time reading.
Right.
So off late, I'm trying to see that at least 1 hour in a day I keep to reading, so I
1
can
hour,
read
huh?
something.
And what drives you to do that? Is just
I
passion
love
or
reading.
just because you
I'm a
love it?
voracious reader, but off late I am really bad. I'm not being able to give that
Give
time
the
because there are
time.
times when I'm out, and in the morning I'm at work. In the times I'm out in the evenings, and the day is wasted. I don't even get that 1 hour to read. So reading and writing is something that I totally enjoy. So earlier I was writing a monthly column for a newspaper, but now I do it. It's kind of freelancing. If I have a good article, I write. But I
Okay.
love that writing process, and I hope in the future I can get involved more into writing.
So much so that you've even written a book.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this book? And
It
why
is a
why
book
did
on
this idea
desserts.
come? Yeah.
Yeah, it is a book on desserts, actually. And everybody has been telling me that it's a long time since a first book is released, so it's time you should go for the second book. And I'm seriously thinking about it.
Okay.
So maybe in the near future, I'll bring out one more book. But book writing is something that I totally enjoy.
So how did this idea come about? Why did you come out with a book?
At that time, it was, I don't know, it just happened by chance. I was at home. I had a lot of recipes. I did a lot of trials at home. I had actually, post marriage, I was in Pune for 3 months. So there I had learned all these baking courses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I did some experiments at home, trial and error. And then I brought out this book at that time. That was 14 years back, I think. And after that, somehow my publisher, Sapna Sardesai, told me, Pallavi, we need to get the second edition, but you need, because it's sold out. But you need to give more time. So time was something which I could never give.
Right.
And after that, bakery happened, and then I just got busy. But now I'm seriously thinking of bringing a different book, not in the cooking sector, but somewhere else. But I am seriously thinking. So maybe soon I'll be getting one new book.
Pallavi, what do you think defines you? What makes Pallavi Pallavi?
Very difficult to say.
But I'm sure that there are certain things that you have, very strong attachment to with what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
What?
So
what are
I
those?
love multitasking.
Okay.
So a lot of times my close friends, my family, they always tell me you need to slow down. Even my mentors have always told me ki, I think one of my mentor told me you are on a treadmill, you just step down. So I need to slow down, and I'm trying. That's a conscious effort I've been making to slow down a bit. So, and I also want to give time to my activities. See, multitasking, do a number of things, trending everywhere is fine for some time. And then you want to do activities that you really enjoy doing.
Right.
Yeah, it's okay. And post, what happens is after time, after 2 years or whatever, you finish that post. But somehow last 10 years I've been back to back posts
Some
I've been
post to the
having.
other.
Yeah. So now I've reached a stage where I feel I must give time to the activities I love, especially reading, writing. So
Right.
reading is something I have not been consciously doing for the last couple of time. But I love multitasking. I get bored if I'm at home alone doing nothing. I need to do constantly something or the other all the time, engage myself doing something. And if I have got nothing to do, I'll be the saddest person.
You'll be so you spoke earlier about how you went through different things and now you're kind of settled down. What was your most satisfying moment in this last maybe a decade of active public life?
Satisfying moments were quite a lot. It was a time I became Laghu Udyog Bharati president. It was a time I took on GCCI Women's Wing chairperson, or I became the SOCHM Women Empowerment chairperson. Means all my office bearers roles were very satisfying. I have gone there, served a purpose, put in my best. It was also a time I released my first book. So there were a lot of things. It's very difficult to point to one, but a lot of things, a lot of milestones in my life, what I've achieved.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
that have been
nice.
very satisfying.
And what is the kind of impact that you want to live out in the world?
I always say ki when I reach the end of my life, I want to look back on my life with a sense of satisfaction.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. For a person to develop to where you have developed, we often have different type of teachers. You mentioned some mentors.
Yeah.
Could you tell me about the support structure that builds you?
Okay.
Teachers, mentors. Who helps Pallavi to become so active and so energetic?
Yeah, a lot of my mentors were my close friends actually. They are the
Okay.
ones who tell me, I mean, they are my close friends plus my critics. My mom was my biggest critic actually.
Okay.
She's no more. But then she was the one who could give me frank opinions. My close
Okay.
friends, some of them also tell me directly, ki you are doing this, you aren't doing this and everything. But for entrepreneurship happened by chance. So I had this mentor, Nandini Vaidyanathan. So
Okay.
she was the one who placed a lot of perspective in entrepreneurship or in business. She was the one who actually told me start making plans because it was my entry into entrepreneurship was unplanned. She told me make 1 year budget, 3 years budget, 5 years budget, plan for your business, decide where you want to make your vision, make the vision of Deserts and More, where you want to go, what you want to do. So she actually taught me how to put everything on paper.
Nice.
Otherwise,
Very
it
nice.
was just in my mind. So she made me sit down, put on paper everything. What are going to be your milestones? What are the future plans? So once I put it on the paper, so everything got concretized.
Yeah, and became more clear.
Yeah, more clear. And I knew which way I could go, which way I was failing, which way I shouldn't be doing. So this were a lot of things. So I would really credit her with my sing mentorship journey.
So, what are your plans for Desert and More in the years to come?
Years to come, I've already started actually healthy. I have seen post COVID, a lot of people are eating healthy. So
Right.
it was very important to foray into healthy foods, make food out of millets, and make bakery kinds of food where you can eat every day. So we make a nashni cookie or a jawar cookie or a wheat cookie, wheat bread, foods that you can eat every day. So that is
Okay.
what I have been pivoting from tasty foods to foods you can eat every day.
So, when you're curating um, uh, an entire menu, okay, there's always the risk of failure. As in, I've created something, people don't like it.
Yeah.
For me, I think it looks good, it tastes good, and it looks good,
Yeah.
but people don't appreciate it or people
Yeah.
don't enjoy it. How can you brief us on what is this process? How does one create this entire process of curating a menu, testing it, and then launching out into the market?
Yeah. So I remember we launched this wheat cakes actually 10 years back.
Okay.
So 10 years back it failed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was quite good. It was not that tasty, but somehow people didn't want to eat. They wanted to eat all the maida cakes. They wanted to eat cream. They wanted tasty food. Absolutely. And post COVID, I've seen a shift in the preferences of
Right,
consumers.
right.
So they started looking out for healthy foods. Today, we have made nashni khari, or we have used millets in our foods. We have used wheat in our food. So we have seen a lot of people oats. They are eating oat cookies every day. My son himself is eating all oats or nashni or all this stuff, cookies or breads. Even breads at home, I have in the morning nashni bread. So these are the kinds of things that have changed post COVID.
Okay.
So it is not that it is very tasty, but it is definitely good to eat. Plus, it is healthy, where you can eat every day. That's what I said. Foods that you can eat every day.
So, how do you develop this? How do you test this thing? Do you
Yeah, the
make and then
taste
give?
of consumers themselves have changed post-COVID. So it is good for us because people are themselves asking for cookies, healthy cookies.
So people
Yeah.
demand
Yeah,
from you.
people demand.
And then where do you test it? Do you test it amongst your own staff, or
Yeah,
do you
we test
give
it amongst our own staff. Everybody
Okay.
gives feedback, and then we decide. We take on, and sometimes customers also give feedback, and we try
Okay.
to alter it.
And then you change.
Yeah, then you change
Okay,
if
okay.
required.
So what you pointed out about the wheat cookies is a very important aspect in business, something that did not that probably worked last time may not work now,
Yeah.
or something that did not work then may work now, simply because the times have changed,
Yeah, correct.
and the people have changed, preferences have changed, priorities have changed. It's been lovely talking to you, Pallavi. There is so much of wealth in the kind of experience that you have. If there is one thing that you would like to say to young entrepreneurs who are coming up into the market today, and maybe we'll stick to the food industry itself, someone who wants to start their own food brand, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah. First thing I would say, it is okay to fail.
Nice.
It is okay, but it is important to get up and go walk the road that you have been wanting to.
Right.
Second thing is get mentors. It is very important to seek mentors, because then mentors have their wisdom and experience where they can
Experience.
guide you.
Right.
And look out for funding where required.
Okay.
Because now the government has got a lot of schemes. There are a lot of incubation centers who incubate you, and there are loans available, collateral free
Right.
from government. So use all these schemes, and that will help you to scale up your business.
Use the ecosystem to
Yeah,
build
use
your
the
business.
ecosystem. There's so much
Nice.
schemes and other things that are available.
Yeah, a lot of people are not aware.
They're not aware of
unfortunately.
it, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of women tell me we were not aware. So
Right.
it is very important to attend be a part of industry association. That is very important.
Right.
Because there's so many industry associations in Goa. See what is right for you, right fit for you, and then join them. It is very important to network, because
Correct.
networking helps you to know what is existing in the
Correct.
market, what are the trends, what are schemes, and helps you to connect to right-minded individuals.
Pallavi,
So
thank you.
networking is very important.
Thank you very much for coming onto this show. Indeed, you have stayed through to the theme or the topic of this conversation, that is inspire. And you've really been inspirational. It's been a pleasure to have you on this. So much to learn, so much to know. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.